You don't need a mansion or a Hollywood name to leave behind a story that's more than just fame.
Me to need a will, just a family, or a cat plotting world domination. Welcome to Celebrity Estate Chaos, where we prove a lot of things. Like how estate chaos isn't just for millionaires with private islands, anyone with stuff, relatives, or that one weird collection you think nobody's fighting over. And chances are, they will. Anyone.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're tackling a crucial and honestly a pretty terrifying blind spot for anyone holding digital assets.
Right.
What happens when the person holding the private key just disappears? We're looking at the silent, irreversible loss of wealth, what our sources are calling the digital graveyard.
And it's caused by that classic mistake, the I'll write it down later problem.
Exactly.
And look, it's not the market volatility that keeps estate planners up at night. It's the certainty of self-disinheritance.
That's a great way to put it.
So we've gathered sources that tell us exactly what happens when crypto owners die or, lose access. Our mission today is to deliver a roadmap so you can avoid turning your digital fortune into, well, an unspendable museum piece.
Okay, so let's start with a reality check because the scale of this problem is, it's pretty shocking.
It really is.
This is not about a few lost JPEGs. Analysts are estimating that somewhere between 2.3 and 3.7 million Bitcoin are already gone.
For good.
For good.
And that's a staggering figure. When you contextualize it, we're talking about maybe 11 to 18% of all BTC that will ever be mined.
Wow.
This loss is fixed. It's irreversible. It's not sitting in a dip waiting to recover. It's a mass extinction event for wallets that are now just cemented into the blockchain, totally untouchable.
And that really gets to the core paradox of owning this stuff, right? The very feature that makes crypto so appealing, that absolute sovereign control you have.
It's also its greatest liability when it comes to passing it on.
Yeah.
Precisely. And we should be clear about the mechanics here. Unlike a bank, where there's a forgot password button or a regulator you can call.
There's no hotline.
There is no hotline. Crypto has one ultimate gatekeeper.
Right.
The private key. Usually it's that string of 12 or 24 words, the seed phrase.
Right.
And that phrase is, it's literally the mathematical proof of ownership.
Right.
If it's lost, the blockchain does not care about your will or your marriage certificate or even a judge's order.
It just shrugs and says, no private key.
No coins. End of story.
That finality, it makes these case studies we're about to go through just chilling. So let's take a tour of the most notorious tombstones in what we're calling the crypto graveyard.
And what's wild is that these aren't novices.
No, not at all. These were CEOs, billionaires, tech prodigies. If they can fail at this, you have to assume the risk is universal.
The first major failure mode we see documented is what you'd call a single point of failure. One person is the sole keeper of the keys.
And the ultimate cautionary tale here has to be Gerald Cotton, the founder of the Canadian exchange QuadraGate-CX.
Oh, absolutely.
When he died suddenly back in 2018, he was reportedly the only person with access to the exchange's cold wallets.
And we should probably explain what a cold wallet is.
Yep.
It's basically offline storage. It's completely disconnected from the internet.
So it's very, very secure against hacking.
Extremely. But it creates this profound human liability risk. When Cotton passed away, suddenly somewhere between $190 and $250 million in customer crypto was just gone. Unrecoverable.
And even though regulators later called the whole thing a fraud, the technical outcome for the money was the same.
Exactly. It vanished.
There's this one detail in the sources that's almost absurd. During the bankruptcy cleanup, the team handling what was left accidentally transferred another 1 or 3 BTC into one of the already locked wallets.
It perfectly crystallizes the chaos. It's like being locked out of your digital house, and then in a panic, you throw your last spare key through the locked window.
Wow. That's a perfect analogy.
The total lack of redundancy just created technical pandemonium.
Okay, so moving to the second failure mode. Complexity without documentation. Basically not integrating crypto into a normal estate plan.
And the poster child for this is Matthew Mellon, the banking heir.
Right. When he died, he left behind a fortune estimated at, $193 to $500 million in XRP, but his key management was a complete disaster.
He was a sophisticated investor for sure, but he treated his keys like scattered sticky notes.
So they were on different encrypted devices.
Different devices, sometimes under pseudonyms, often managed by third parties he trusted but hadn't, legally empowered.
Oh, that's a nightmare.
It was a total probate limbo. His lawyers spent years just trying to piece together a coherent treasure map. It's a textbook estate planning horror story, all because the complexity was totally undocumented.
And finally, we have maybe the most dramatic failure type just, no succession plan whatsoever. And that brings us to Mircea Popescu.
Right, Popescu. He was a notorious early Bitcoin investor, a true whale, believed to have held somewhere between $1 and $2 billion in BTC.
A billion with a B.
A billion with a B. And when he drowned in 2021, the sources are pretty clear. There was no succession plan at all.
So what happened to the coins?
The consensus is that his coins are now definitively part of that lost forever pile we mentioned at the start.
Wow.
And while that's a total disaster for his heirs, it raises this interesting macro point. His failure actually makes the remaining circulating supply of Bitcoin just a little bit scarcer.
So his lost fortune actually reinforces the value for everyone else. That's a fascinating, brutal twist.
It is.
But, okay, let's pivot now, because it's not just about what happens when billionaires die.
Exactly. The lesson here is that you don't need to pass away for your fortune to become inaccessible. This accidental self-disinheritance is shockingly common.
And for this, the poster child is definitely James Howells, the Walsh IT worker.
Oh, that story is just heartbreaking.
The date that must haunt him is 2013. He accidentally threw out a hard drive,
A hard drive containing the key to 8,000 BTC.
which is now worth hundreds of millions of dollars.
The psychological weight of knowing that wealth is physically sitting just a few feet under the ground somewhere in a landfill, it's unimaginable.
And he spent years trying to get permission to dig it up.
Repeatedly denied. Especially now that the site is being turned into a solar farm. It's just gone.
And then there's the existential terror of Stefan Thomas. He's a programmer living in a thriller of his own making.
Right. He stored 7,002 BTC on an encrypted iron key USB drive.
And he forgot the password.
Yes. And the iron key is designed to wipe itself clean after 10 failed attempts. He has 2 tries left.
2
tries before hundreds of millions of dollars are erased forever. It's the perfect storm of ultra-security meeting basic human fallibility.
So maximum security without a recovery plan is basically just playing Russian roulette with your net worth.
That's exactly what it is.
And to bring this down to earth, we have the case of an average entrepreneur, a guy named James, in Florida. A law firm documented what happened after he died unexpectedly.
And his family just struggled for months with sheer confusion, with legal delays because there were 0 instructions or keys for his crypto holdings or his online business assets.
So the common thread in all these cases, Howells, Thomas, James, it's the complete lack of a plan B.
It really is. They demonstrate the 3 core failures so clearly. First, no key redundancy. One person or one brain knew everything.
Second, no estate integration.
Right, no will or trust that specifically maps out crypto access. And third, no boring backup. No financial safety net if the main assets just vanish.
It's the complexity mixed with the extreme security that just overwhelms our normal legal and family structures.
You can't just hand a physical ledger to a lawyer. You have to empower them with the means to actually take control of the assets.
Which is why the sources all come to the same conclusion. Structure, documentation, and redundancy. They're the only solutions.
Yes.
Okay, that was the history of horror. Let's talk solutions now. Let's address you, the listener, directly. If your current plan is something like, my spouse will figure it out.
You really need to listen to this next part.
Because the sources are absolutely clear. Without documentation, they will not figure it out. You need structured life support for your digital fortune.
And this starts with the absolute fundamentals. Step 1 is making a real inventory.
Not just checking your phone once a month.
No. This needs to be an offline, regularly updated list. It needs to detail every exchange, every wallet, the types of tokens, approximate values.
Step 2. Decide where the keys live, and this is crucial. Test the recovery.
It's so important. If you use a hardware wallet, write down that seed phrase, store it securely. A fireproof safe, a deposit box, maybe even split into multiple pieces in different places.
And then you have to test it.
You must test it. Restore a dummy wallet on a separate device using that backup. If you haven't successfully done that, you don't have a backup. You have a hypothesis.
That's a great line. Okay, next up is the critical documentation phase. Step 3, creating a plain English treasure map.
We cannot emphasize this enough. Your heirs do not speak fluent nerd.
Right.
This map needs to clearly state where the devices are, where the physical seed phrase is, and most importantly, which professional, a lawyer or IT consultant, they should call for help. Keep the jargon to a minimum.
And step 4 is making this all legal. You have to work with an estate planning lawyer who actually understands digital assets.
This is not optional if you have serious holdings.
You need specific language in your will or trust that grants authority over digital assets and names a digital executor. Without that, even the executor for your stocks might get stonewalled trying to access a crypto account.
Absolutely.
And on that note of critical resources, for more great assistance on structuring these exact steps, today's deep dive is brought to you by author Tina Jin. Her books and toolkits offer really practical help for building out this inheritance plan. You can find the link to her resources in the description below.
So moving on to redundancy and structure. Step 5 is using smart technology, not secret heroics. For any substantial holdings, you need to graduate beyond a single seed phrase hidden under the mattress.
This is where multi-signature or multi-sig wallets come in, right?
Exactly.
Multi-sig is a key concept here. It's basically like a digital safe deposit box that needs more than one key to open. So like 2 out of 3 keys.
That's the perfect way to think about it. Instead of a single point of failure, you structure it so the keys are split. Key A goes to your spouse, key B goes to your digital executor or lawyer, key C stays with you.
So if you die or lose your key,
The spouse and the lawyer can still access the funds together. It decentralizes the risk of memory loss or accidents or even fraud. It builds the inheritance plan right into the code itself.
that really changes the dynamic. You're relying on a structured process with human oversight, not just pure secrecy.
Absolutely. And then comes step 6, which is maybe the least exciting but most practical.
What's that?
Train your future self, which really means training your family. They don't need to be day traders, but they need to be familiar with this stuff.
Just show them what a wallet looks like.
Exactly. Walk them through the instruction map. Explain what a seed phrase is and why its location is so critical. If the first time they see a ledger device is after your funeral, they are already months behind.
That practical training has to reduce the chance of panicked, expensive mistakes.
And finally, step 7. Back up your legacy with boring old-school insurance.
Interesting.
If your crypto is a meaningful part of your net worth, pair it with robust life insurance or disability coverage. It provides a financial buffer.
So if the digital assets take 6 months or even a year to sort out,
Or, God forbid, you end up like a James Howells or Stefan Thomas, and some of it is lost for good, the family has immediate financial stability, they aren't in a race against time to unlock the keys.
that's a really smart way to look at it. Insurance as a strategic safety net for the custody risk.
So if we go back to that graveyard we talked about, the theme is always complexity without documentation leading to chaos.
Right.
The sources show the choice is clear. You either embrace the structure needed to manage sovereign wealth, or your wallet dies with you, silently vanishing into that 11 to 18% of lost coins.
It really is a choice between a headline and a heritage. Are you willing to risk becoming the subject of some future article about the person who accidentally donated a fortune to the blockchain, leaving their family a mysterious USB stick and 0 instructions? The plan has to be built now, while you're healthy and you can still access everything. Go make sure your digital fortune is set up to become a legacy, not a ghost story.
That's a wrap for today's chaos. If you learned something, laughed a little, or now feel slightly more prepared for life's curveballs, we've done our job. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel and follow us on social media. Catch us on Spotify, YouTube, and anywhere podcasts make you rethink your to-do list. Thanks for tuning in. And remember, if it's important and unexpected, we probably cover it. Stay safe, stay curious, and we'll see you next time.